Okay, good morning, everyone. Had to get IG ready too. Can't leave out our IG community. So, happy Friday. Oh my, today. I love it. I love days like that. So fun. All right, guys. So, today I have an interesting topic because I've been asked a few times, hey, Reg, my wrists are feeling a little different. In fact, there is something called Yogi wrist. And what that is, it's when the pressure in the wrist, or actually when the pressure of certain poses, specifically inversions, are being affected, right? When the wrist is being affected because the pressure is going to the wrist. So there's a couple things you could do. So the first question is, Regina, why does my wrist hurt? So the reason it's hurting is because the majority of the weight is going into the wrist as opposed to the palm and the forearm. So there's a couple things you can do. Number one, and this happens mostly, I'll show you guys, this happens mostly when you're doing downward dog, right, which is a very common pose. And that's the one where you are simply kind of upside down, as I call it, and almost like in a V shape. So the reason that's happening is because the attention is on the wrist and not on the palm. So what you want to do is you want to press on the palm and actually press into the pinky. So by doing that, you're actually drawing the focus onto the base of the palm, and you're actually allowing the pinky and the forefinger to take the majority of the weight. And then you're going to notice that your forearm is engaged. So even as you do this, go ahead and raise your arm and do this with me. You'll notice that the focus now moves from the wrist and it actually goes to the pinky, to the index finger, and then to the forearm. So this is great because it's actually strengthening the forearms, which is then going to go ahead and strengthen the arms altogether. And it's also taking away any extra pressure from the wrist. So it's really important because if you continue to do this over time, and it does happen where yogis have you want to be mindful, right? So I don't hear about it too much. It's not something we actually talk about a lot in the yoga community. It's not something I'm really noticing is an issue so much because it's being taught in this way now. So of course it is something that probably many years ago they didn't realize was an issue, and so it was happening. So there is ironically a lot of poses that we've adjusted and switched out how we teach over the years, over the last 30, 40 years, because of that very reason. Things are developed, even handstand and headstand. That's a pose, an asana that although I learned it, it's not a pose that I really teach very often. And the reason is because there are different benefits for different people. Let me rephrase that. There's different goals for different people. And the students that I work with, oftentimes that's not a pose that's really something of true value to them. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have excellent benefits. It definitely does, because it actually allows us to allow the blood flow, and there's some wonderful benefits. It says that it actually helps you live longer. I would prefer that people use a wall just because of different reasons. So the good news is there's a lot of options, but regarding the wrist, you really want to make sure that you're allowing that pressure, that intention to go into the palm. Now, the other reason, and I love to talk about this, and you guys know I like to dabble and bring in spirituality into different areas, not just in the body, but also this work that I get to do is mental, physical, and also spiritual. So the spiritual meaning behind wrist pain is stubbornness. So how many of us have been stubborn before? right? We are a little bit limited in our thinking or rigid in the way we're thinking. And so it's a wonderful reminder to not be stubborn. And there is, of course, sometimes where you do need to be stubborn. If you're, engaging in a practice or maybe a new project, and it's really important to stick to the commitment of the project, then you do want to be stubborn and you want to be not necessarily rigid, but you want to be focused and you want to be structured in your intention and your awareness around the project. So those are a couple tips there. And then what else? What else can you do about it? The other thing you could do is, and I want to take a moment here, and I love this one because what's mindset got to do with it, right? So here's where it all comes together. So a lot of you know that I do mindset coaching and I integrate that into the work that I do. And it's all about helping people achieve internal peace, whether it's in their business life or their personal life. We bring it all together. So how is that important? And what's that got to do with the wrist? So it's actually quite simple, because if you're putting your attention and your awareness into, ow, my wrist hurts, what do you think you're going to get more of? Ow, my wrist hurts. Exactly. So by allowing your mind to focus on what's working, right? Allowing your mind to focus on, oh, I'm pressing the attention and the focus into the base of my palm. I can feel my forearm actually engaged, and I can feel it being exercised. I can actually, when I say exercise, I can feel the muscle being hugged to the bone, right? I can feel I don't want to use the word tension, but I can feel the tendons in my wrist and in my forearm tightened and strengthened, right? I can feel my middle finger and my pinky and my thumb pressing, drawing down. Even though I'm not on the floor right now, I'm literally pressing into the air. I can feel those fingertips pressing towards the air, which is taking the attention off my wrist and moving it down into my arm. So mindset, be cognizant of where your mind is going, where it's taking you, because the mind, as we know, as Dr. Seuss used to say, is a very beautiful thing, and it'll take you to all kinds of places. So choose to go to places that are uplifting, that are entertaining, and that are enlightening. And that, my friends, is a little bit of Q&A with Yogi Reg. Today's a short one, but I wanted to make sure that we were able to answer your questions. So we got that one. And of course, join me every Friday for Q&A with Yogi Reg. And then Mondays through Thursday, you can find me same place, same time, where I share a different tip of the day. Usually it's something to do with that theme of the day. And we do a little meditation and mindfulness practice every Monday through Friday. That's the health and wellness, I can't speak today. The health and wellness segment that I share. And then, as many of you know, I'm sharing a little bit more about wealth and real estate and how to up-level your life in that way too. And I got a lot of cool things coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned. Have a wonderful, fantastic weekend. And I will see you guys on Monday for Mindset Mondays. Bye, guys. Have an awesome day.